Hi everyone, it's Crystal from crystalscraftandstuff.blogspot.com, and today I want to do a tutorial on, you can see these, how I made these bags, and they're just made out of lunch bags, brown paper lunch bags, and I'm just putting my Halloween stuff that I made for some people in there, just to make it nice, simple, and pretty easy. So, as you can see, I'm going to be using my Cricut, actually my Cricut Imagine today, and I am going to be cutting out this monster from the Mini Monsters cartridge, and I'm just using plain white cardstock for it. So I am going to be cutting out the monster that is on page 45, and I will need that one, layer 1 and layer 2, and shift on both layers 1 and layer 2. So, I'm just using, like I said, plain white cardstock, and my cardstock size is 8.5 by 11. And I wanted to point this out too real quick, is that on your cutting mat, I'm used to lining it up on this side over here. Well, with the Imagine, you want to line it up to the left side. I am using this monster right here. Then I need to hit layer 1, that monster, shift lock that piece, layer 2, and now it's still on shift lock, need that piece, take shift lock off, and I always get confused with the eyes, so what I do is I just get my book back up here, and then I just count 1, 2, 3. Those ones. Okay. Now that since I'm just using, like I said, my Imagine, I need to go and get the colors. So I had already went and cut some of these out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit next on here. Okay, and my paper size is still set to the 8.5 by 11 that I was using. But if you don't know how to do that, it's the width and height section that's right over here. And then when I hit the width, you'll see it take it out to 9. See that? So I'm just keeping that on there. Now, I'm going to click on my first one and hit the pencil to go in there and edit it. And the first thing is, I want this at 3.5 inches. 3.5. Okay. Then I want to go into my color wheel, and I had gone online and I found the colors that I was looking for. If you just Google RGB codes, you'll find tons of them that way. So my first one is a forest green I'm using, and because I already had these selected, they'll show up here. But here, I'll do this over again. So my first one was a forest green. It was supposed to be 34. So I just hit my down arrow until it takes me to 34. And you just keep doing that. Then, like, my green is 139, so I go over to my green and make it 139. And then my red is 34, so I just take it to 34 again. Very simple. I'm just going to cancel, go out of there. So I'm making mine my forest green, which my RGB codes are 34, 139, and 34. And I'm going to hit apply. And then I'm going to hit apply again. Oops, that was the wrong one. That was not supposed to be forest green. That's supposed to be just regular black. My next one, right there. Hit the pencil again. And again, I want to take this up to 3.5 as well. And then I'm going to hit my color wheel. Now this is my one that's going to be forest green. So 34, 139, and 34. Hit apply. And apply again. Okay, my next layer right here. Same thing. Take it up to 3.5. When you're laying like this, you want to make sure you use all the same measurements. Then my color wheel again. And that one is going to be yellow-green that I found, and I already got that right there. And the RGB codes for that one is 154, 205, and 50. Okay, this layer right here. Now this layer right here, I am going to be making it Melon Mambo from the Stampin' Up. Okay, and those numbers are 234, 89, and 128. Then hit apply. And the last thing, don't forget, is to make sure you take your eyes up to 3.5. And those will just stay in plain white. So, oops. Hit apply. Now everything's adjusted and I'm ready to print and cut. Now I just want to give you ladies a quick tip, because I can't tell you how many times I've done this. Oops, sorry about that. If you go into settings, I always check this to make sure. I make sure that it says print and cut. Because a lot of times mine will say cut only or print only, depending on my previous project. So I always make sure I go in there and make sure my print and cut is selected. It just saves a whole bunch of hassle. Okay. And then you just hit next. Try not to hit this. If it's moving, I'm sorry, ladies. Okay, I got my paper loaded, and I just hit the play button on the machine. Now, we're going to go ahead and let this print and cut, and then we're going to go ahead over and put it together. Okay, ladies, now that we have it all cut out and put together, what we're going to go ahead and do now is you want to grab a lunch bag. Now, you notice with the lunch bags that you have the front and then the back. Okay, you want to make sure this you're using this as your back, not your front. I did one and I realized that was the back. So what I just do here is I just take this flap and make sure it's in the back. And then I take about, I don't know, I'd say maybe 1.5 inches. Because that's where it's going to be folded at. So we don't have to really worry about that section too much. So now what I'm going to do is I'm using some Distress ink, some Spice Marmalade, and this is really simple to do. And I'm just, because I can't find my tool, I'm just using a sponge. Getting some ink on there. And then I'm just going to go and put some ink on my bag. Okay, and you just do that all the way around your bag until you get the look that you want to achieve. So I've already got one prepped up and ready to go, and that's it. And I really like the look how this turns. I think it turns out really, really nice. So the next step, what we're going to do is I am going to be using some stamps, and I am using the Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo, and it's the Creepy Wine label, and that's what they look like. And I'm using the Poison and the Arsenic. So, let me get the Arsenic one going here. And I'm just using some black ink. And let me get my... I use a mouse pad to stamp on. And just make some random stamps. So now I'm going to be using the Poison stamp. And with this one, I'm going to be doing some embossing. So before I start embossing, I'm just going to take my heat gun real quick. I'm going to heat it up, and I just want to run it over my bag really quickly here, just to make sure all my ink is dry. Now these are brown paper bags, so they get hot really quick, so you don't want to keep it in one spot for very long. And I still apologize, I still got this cough. Okay, now for the poison, what I'm using is the Color Box Paint Box Pigment Ink. And I'm using the purple right here. Okay, I got my stamp on. Okay, I'm going to stamp this twice, and I'm going to emboss. And you know what? That one might not turn out because I should have inked it back up again. And I didn't. So that one might not turn out. And I am using some purple embossing powder. I had bought this years ago from Joann's. And to be quite honest with you, I don't really like it. I know I got it on, like, on clearance or something, so. Okay, you must set that aside, and I'm just going to put this back in the bottle real quickly here. Just like so. And I got a paintbrush here. I'm just going to take over to where I got some embossing powder at that I don't want it. Okay, now then again, just heat it up. Okay. Okay, you can see how that turned out. Okay, then you just finish position them on your bag where you want them at. So, I already have this one done. Usually I try to do all this on camera with Jens, but this project was just so big for me to do on, not big, but it was just so much with the Imagine and putting it together and stamping and embossing that I just went ahead and I just did some beforehand. Just thought it'd make the process go. So now I just want to go ahead and do is just position my monster to where I want him at. So I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm using my ATG gun on this one because I was going to use glue, but I didn't want it going through the other side. Very, very simple. I'll be down in a minute. Okay, anyways, sorry about that. This is very simple. And he's done. So, I'm not going to open that one up just yet, but I did have this one open. So, when you open them, and you can see this is my practice bag, and put your stuff in, it sits like that. Very easy project, fun, and not expensive. And that's why when the kids throw them away, you won't feel so bad. So, there you have it, my very easy project. Please leave a comment or subscribe to my channel. Either one would be great. Thank you. I hope everyone has a happy Halloween and have a wonderful day.